For topics 8, 9, and 10 this season, we're going to revisit kicks from the mark. Changes to Law 14 and Law 10 over the past 2 years have really revamped this tiebreaker, so it's time to release a comprehensive look at how it works. This is a 3-part series that will comprehensively cover all scenarios created by the laws. Law 10 covers kicks from the mark. Kicks are used to determine a winner when a match is drawn. Competition rules may allow for a drawn result with no tiebreaker, may call for a drawn match to proceed directly to kicks after the conclusion of regular time, or may call for an extra time period played to completion first. You must check with the competition authority and understand its rules prior to working a match. The kicks procedure is broken into an administrative phase and an execution phase. Administration involves all the work performed before the tiebreaker starts, determining who's eligible, which goal will be used, and which team will kick first. The execution phase begins with the first kick, and rules in this phase cover what violations may occur when a goal is counted and how to determine which team wins. The first step in the administrative phase is to determine which players are eligible to participate. Formal IFAB rules dictate only players who are considered players at the end of the match, not substitutes or substituted players, are eligible to participate in the tiebreaker. The exception is the ability to substitute for an injured goalkeeper who's unable to continue, only if the team has an available substitution to use. In the case of most youth matches with unlimited re-entry, this is not an issue, but if substitution is limited, the injured goalkeeper can only be replaced by a substitute if the team has a substitution available. Players who are temporarily off the field at the conclusion of the match due to equipment or injury remain eligible. Any player who's now a substitute, substituted player, or sent-off player is not eligible. Importantly, some competitions will modify eligibility rules for kicks. They should explicitly indicate these modifications in their rules of competition. If no such modifications are made, these eligibility rules should be adhered to strictly. If a player was cautioned during the match, that caution does not carry over into kicks. The caution is still reported in the match report, but an additional caution given once the tiebreaker enters the execution phase does not result in a send-off for a second bookable offense unless the player is given 2 cautions during the execution phase. If one team finishes the match with fewer players than the other, say due to a player being sent off or somebody being hurt, the opposing team must reduce to equate. This means they must select a player to be named ineligible in order to keep the number of participants even on both sides. Say red has a player sent off during the match and they finish with 10 players, blue has to name one of its 11 eligible players to become ineligible for the tiebreaker, so both teams have only 10 players participating. When the tiebreaker commences, the number of participants must be even. Unless there are field conditions such as poor lighting or damaged turf in one penalty area that would force the tiebreaker to be held at one end of the field, the referee conducts 2 coin tosses with the captains during the administrative phase. The first toss determines which goal to use. The referee may designate one side for heads and the other for tails. A second toss is called by the away team and the winner chooses to kick first or second. That summarizes the administrative phase from kicks to the mark. Be sure to tune in next week when we cover the execution phase.